We're kind of in the point in the world where it's more about women trying to lift up other women and empower them instead of putting other women down. So I think that that's really helpful in our group.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Wisconsin's Outdoor Explorer podcast. I am your host Jason, and I have got a really fun episode for you guys this week. Today I'm talking with Sarah and Diana from the Women Hiking Wisconsin group. Now this group was started by 5 Wisconsin women who all shared a passion for hiking and exploring Wisconsin, which is, what we all like to do. And their goal is to bring together and empower women through hiking. They pick different areas of the state to hike, and they plan day hikes together. It's a really great group, and it's something that I think is really important to help encourage women to get out there and hike if they've never hiked before, or even if they're experienced hikers, to come on out and hike with this group. They've got a really good story to tell, and I'm glad that they sat down with me and talked with me a little bit about their story. So let's get into it. Again, this is Sarah and Diana from the Women Hiking Wisconsin group. Joining me today on the podcast is Diana and Sarah from Women Hiking Wisconsin. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having us. Yeah, thank you.
Let's start with the question of what is Women Hiking Wisconsin?
So we started Women Hiking Wisconsin almost 2 years ago now, and we're both avid hikers, and we were kind of looking to connect with more women, but we didn't really see a super official hiking group. So we thought, why don't we create one? And so we kind of rolled from there. And the point of Women Hiking Wisconsin is just to empower other women to get out there, no matter, your age, your size, your shape, your, whatever you've got going on, just to get out there and hike with other women and enjoy it and enjoy nature. And
so when you say a group of you, can you give me a little bit of background about, who all was the founders of this group?
The original founders were Sarah and I, and then our friend Jessie, and our friend Destiny, who also has a separate Instagram called Destiny Hikes Wisconsin. So she's trying to get to all the Wisconsin state parks within a couple years. And then our other friend, Elizabeth, who had a separate Instagram called How She Sees MKE. So she went to most of the local restaurants and was just more about the city life. And we all just kind of formed a group message on Instagram and were talking about it. And we decided to make an Instagram right away and put up one of our first hikes and hope that people would attend. And they did. So it was really exciting.
What are your backgrounds in the outdoors?
Yeah, so for me, this is Sarah. I grew up hiking. We would always go to the Kettle Moraine area as a family with our dog. And then I kind of stopped for a while. Things get busy. You get a grown-up job or whatever, and kind of lose it. But then, actually when I met Diana, she was the one that re-sparked my love for hiking, and kind of went from there. So, yeah, definitely grew up with it.
Kind of similar. So my parents had a cabin up north near Wapaka Wild Rose area. So we would go there every weekend during the summer and just, be outside. We would go camping. And then a lot of our family vacations, we went to national parks like the Badlands and Rocky Mountains. So I kind of grew up with that, and then, went to college and kind of drifted out. And then one of my old friends had bought a pair of hiking boots, and she was like, oh, you want to go hiking with me this weekend? I was like, sure, why not? And we ended up going every weekend then. So I have her to thank for that.
Well, that's cool. And I think that's kind of the way a lot of us are. We start younger as kids going with our parents or family members, and like you said, life kind of takes over. We get into college, we get into all this, And then we kind of come back to it, and that's kind of where I am too in my life. I'm like kind of getting back into it, and trying to encourage others to get back into it. You know, this is really a good thing that you guys are doing, and you're helping a group maybe that's probably not getting out there as much as they'd like to, or they're afraid to get out there by themselves. And that's kind of, and you did mention a little bit, but who is that group that you're really trying to focus on getting out?
Really anyone. I mean, we've had moms bring their young daughters, and then we also had once like a 70, 80-year-old woman come with us. So really, like, we're open to any age group.
You're located in southern Wisconsin, but I know you've had some hikes up here in the Northwoods, the Eagle River area and stuff. How do you pick where you're going to do your hikes?
So we'll do sometimes polls on our social media and say, you know, where should we hike next? Where would you like to go? Or we'll pick something somewhere that we've never been that sounds interesting. With the Eagle River one, that was actually their tourism reached out to us and had us set it up. So sometimes something cool like that will happen.
How many hikes do you choose a year to try to get to maybe?
The goal was like every month, but sometimes it's just hard to stick with that. And then with the weather, you know, we were supposed to have a hike February or March, and the snowstorms came, so then we had our first one of the year just last weekend. So it's really dependent on that. But we try to get out of the Milwaukee area, but we haven't reached a lot of the state yet just because we do work full time. So we just have the weekends, and a lot of them are pretty far. So, you know, we would love to. It's just a matter of getting to those places in a couple of days.
Yeah.
I think something that's cool is we also encourage anyone that's a member of the group to set up their own hikes as well. So we've had some people do hikes in different parts of the states that we haven't been able to get to yet. And so they'll just create an event on Facebook and share it, and then it becomes one of our official events.
Is it exclusively to women?
Yeah. So it's anyone that identifies as a woman.
Yeah, and their dog.
Yeah.
Can't forget that.
No.
What do you think the hikers get out of a strictly a women's hiking group?
I think a sense of safety and inclusion, and just a way to kind of relax and enjoy meeting other women. I've seen like new friendships form, which is really awesome.
I think something too that, and it doesn't happen as much on the hiking trail, but, you know, in life right now, there's a lot of, you know, men not saying the nicest thing to women and, you know, catcalling and things like that. And it's just kind of refreshing. Not that all men are like that, of course, but it's just kind of refreshing to get out there with women and not really have that on your mind at all, especially, too, if you're hiking in a huge group. We know that nothing like that is going to happen. We're kind of in the point in the world where it's more about women trying to lift up other women and empower them instead of putting other women down. So I think that that's really helpful in our group. And also, I'll tell just a little story. A couple hikes ago, a woman told me that we usually gather in a big circle beforehand and introduce ourselves. And she told me that she got emotional during it and that she just thought it was really amazing to see all this women come together with a common goal. And I'll that's something I'll never forget, because it's, you know, you start this group and then actually you get something out of it.
Do you have a limit to your groups, or how big or small do your groups get when you go?
We don't have a set limit yet. Our last hike last weekend surpassed all the other ones. I think there were like 70 women almost.
Oh, wow.
So we were like, we were not expecting that, which is great. Generally, they're like anywhere from small would be 15, 20 to like 30, 40.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, if it does get to a point, you know, on Facebook events, we'll have sometimes nearly 1,000 women say they're interested in the event. Obviously, if it were to get to be too crazy, we would probably have to cap the number because we don't want to, you know, destroy our parks.
Right, right.
As of now, we don't have a set number.
Yeah. And that's good. That's kind of a good problem to have if you get to the point where you got to have a sign-up sheet, right, to say, okay, we can only take this many. Well, that That's good. Are you seeing repeat hikers come back once they've been out with you one time?
Yeah. There's definitely a few that have come
Every hike,
every other hike. So yeah, it's really fun to see.
What do you think you are getting out of this adventure that you're putting together?
Well, I think I'm getting out of it everything that I hope that the other women are that I kind of talked about before. Just I've made a lot of new friends, which is awesome. Learned a lot more about, different hiking gear, different trails. We have such a good resource on our Facebook group. People are constantly saying, what's a good hike within an hour of Madison or something like that. You learn about little hidden gems you never would have ever found before. And I guess just like the most important thing to me is that it's really getting people to connect more and get outside, and like myself as well. I never would have met most of these women or just like have known them from my online presence. So it's cool to connect a name and a face together. So yeah, just good friendships, good hikes.
Yeah, good friendships, good hikes. I'm definitely getting out of my comfort zone too, which I wasn't expecting. I'm definitely more of an introvert, so even doing this podcast was something I never thought I would do before. And then once Sarah didn't come on a hike once because she wasn't feeling well, so I led the little huddle we have in the beginning, and that was like a big deal. So, I got out of my comfort zone there, and just like meeting and hiking with new people and introducing yourselves and just having conversations. So it's definitely helped me become a little more extroverted, I guess. So, which is great.
Yeah, that's definitely something I can relate to, because honestly, I never saw myself doing a podcast a year ago either. So it's been something that I've enjoyed doing. Where is your favorite place to hike right now?
Well, I've only been there once, but this is Sarah. My favorite spot in Wisconsin. Oh, I guess, are we doing in Wisconsin?
You know what?
Or the world.
Well, let's start with Wisconsin, and then we can go the world. How about that?
Okay. So in Wisconsin, there's a park up northwest called Copper Falls State Park, and it just has the most beautiful waterfalls. And I just, I've only been there once. Hope to get back there maybe this summer. And yeah, it was just amazing. Definitely recommend it.
I am partial to the Door County area. I think there's like 4 state parks all within like 10, 15 minutes of each other, and they're all gorgeous. And then my brother recently moved to the Bayfield area. So a couple years ago, Sarah and Jesse and I went to Madeline Island and went to Big Bay State Park, and that was beautiful too. So I guess I like the coastal parks.
Okay. Okay, so I'll ask about the world one. Where's your favorite place to hike?
This one's harder.
Oh, yeah.
We are mountain girls for sure. And so it's, we've got some hills here in Wisconsin, which is nice, but my mind instantly we took a trip to California last October, and we were at Joshua Tree National Park, and together we both summited our first mountain.
Awesome.
And it was this just amazing feeling, and something I'll never forget. And, we were so tired. We were laughing. We were crying. That will always be one of my favorite hikes ever.
Oh, that sounds really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my goal is to get to all the California state or national parks. I'm hoping to check all those off my list. But
and all the national
all of them really. Honestly.
So where do you guys see your group going here in the next 5 or 10 years, or where would you like to see this go?
Ooh, so we've got some exciting stuff coming up. Actually, I don't know how much we can share, but we have a few companies that have reached out to us that we're going to plan some hikes with. So that's really cool. We also, and this is just small term, but we also have some merchandise coming soon, so that's exciting. And then as far as 5 to 10 years, it's just, I don't know if we've thought that far ahead. But, we would love to expand it to, like, women hiking the Midwest and maybe get, like, a Michigan hike in there or something. And then, women hiking the world.
Yep.
So
we'll get there one day.
How can somebody reach out to you and find out where your hikes are? What's the best way that they can do that?
If they have social media, we are on Facebook and Instagram, just under Women Hiking Wisconsin. And then for our actual hikes, we always put them in our Instagram bio, the location, the date, and the time. We'll post stories throughout, just letting people know. And then we always create a Facebook event.
And also if they, are a little bit more old school, we do have an email, womenhikingwisconsin@gmail.com. We're on there a lot. We're always happy to answer questions. So, yeah, it is very based on the internet right now, but we don't really have the money to send out a mailing. So,
sure.
But it's been working well.
Well, is there anything that you want to say that might encourage somebody to join your group, or anything you want to add?
I guess my biggest thing is, Diana was kind of talking about, introverted versus extroverted, and it can be really scary to try a new thing, especially in a large group. But we're very inclusive. We're never going to turn you away. We do try to talk to as many people as we can. It's hard, especially on our last hike with about 70 women. But we're there to support you. We're there to answer questions. And it's just it's a great way to get outside, get some fresh air, get rid of that seasonal affective disorder. And yeah, we'd love to have you.
They can always send us a message too on Instagram or Facebook if they're a little nervous. We can always try having a little conversation beforehand. So I know that might be helpful.
Well, that's all great. And I think what you're doing for women in Wisconsin and the outdoors, I think it's just really a great program which you got started here, and I hope you continue to grow it, and I hope you like we talked, maybe get some chapters throughout the state where you're growing that way a little bit too. And and I just want to thank you both for coming on the podcast and talking a little bit about Women Hiking Wisconsin, and we'll post some links to all the stuff that you mentioned in the show notes here. But again, thank you both for coming on the podcast today.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Sorry you can't actually come on.
You have a wife or girlfriend who can come
well,
with.
I've got my wife and I've got 3 girls, so I.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so I'm there, and they're a little young, but we've been to Copper Falls a few times, and we love it up there, and nice. And they love getting out and hiking, and so we try to get out. Same as you, life is busy, but we try to get out as much as we can when we can do it, and a lot of times it is on the weekends, but yeah, they really enjoy it. So when I saw your group, I'm like, oh, this is perfect. I'm glad you guys are doing something like this. So
that makes us happy. Thank you.
I want to thank Sarah and Diana for taking some time today and telling me their story and telling me about their group. And I'm going to put links to their Facebook page, to their Instagram page, and links to how you can contact them and reach out to them. And, maybe if you're interested in helping them start a chapter or to expand the group into parts where maybe they don't get into as much, I'm sure they'd be glad to talk to you about that too. So they're really doing a great thing, and I'm so glad I was able to sit down and talk with them a little bit about what they're doing and why they're doing it. And I hope that they can keep continuing to grow what they're doing. And Women Hiking Wisconsin is exactly what Wisconsin's Outdoor Explorer is all about. It's about, getting out there and exploring new things and seeing new things and bringing new people in and just learning to get more from your outdoors. And this group is a fantastic group. And I hope that if you're someone who has been on the fence about getting out and hiking, that maybe you can join their group and learn a little bit more about our state and about hiking. And, even if you know somebody who might be interested, tell them about Women Hiking Wisconsin, get them out there. Let's help grow their group so we can all be Wisconsin's Outdoor Explorers. Thanks for listening to the Wisconsin's Outdoor Explorer podcast. For more great information about being an outdoor explorer, visit our website at wisconsinsoutdoorexplorer.com. And be sure to check out the blog page and follow us on social media. And don't forget to subscribe to this podcast wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.